Hi, Wyatt.
Hi, Mom.
It's a travel day.
Yes, it is.
I wish you were coming with us.
Yeah, me too. I mean...
But do you really, or are you like, okay, peace out, parents. It's been real.
I mean, you guys are hitting up a national park anyway.
We are. We are actually heading to Illinois today. We're headed back to Rockford, where my mom and dad live. They've got 2 weeks left before they retire from their job and life there, and they're moving to Ohio to be closer to family. My dad is a full-time pastor, which we've mentioned on our channel before. He's the senior pastor at his congregation in Rockford, Illinois, and has been for almost 21 years. But he is retiring this year. So we're going to Rockford. We're gonna help mom and dad kind of wrap some things up there the next couple of weeks. We're gonna boondock at the church there and do everything we can to help mom and dad finish up their move from that end and then get them moved to Ohio. Every time that we go to my parents in Rockford, we drive by the exit for the Indiana Dunes National Park, and every single time we're always like, we don't have enough time to stop. We're not gonna stop. It's just, you know, one of those things, if we don't have a couple of days to spend somewhere, we just keep going past it. And we're kind of to the point now where it's like, this has gotta stop. We gotta quit going past it. We may only have one night, but we're gonna stop. So we're actually staying at Indiana Dunes State Park, not Indiana Dunes National Park, for our camp spot tonight. However, we'll be hitting up the visitor center, and depending on the weather, see what else we can see in 24 hours. It is not the greatest weather today, and tomorrow it's supposed to like 98% chance of bucketing the rain all day. But we are going to do our best. We've done national parks in the rain before. So that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna enjoy it and see what we can see. And we've got about a 3-hour travel day today, and we will see you guys in Indy.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I go.
So we have arrived at Indiana Dunes State Park. This place is very busy for a Monday, middle of the week. Now it is Memorial Day weekend this weekend, but that's not for several days. But we have arrived at the state park. We got backed in like bosses, and Levi's already getting set up. We're pretty level right off the bat, so we're excited about that. And we're only staying the one night, so we're not even gonna do a whole lot when it comes to setup. It's supposed to pour the rain tomorrow, so the less that we do tonight before we have to turn right around and check out tomorrow by noon, I think. It might be 1. I don't know what Indiana state parks are, but anyway, we'll double check that. But we made it. It was kind of a longer travel day than we'd hoped. It took us about 4 hours to get here, but we did make one stop. Anyway, State Park looks gorgeous, which is 2 seconds from the national park. So it didn't hurt us one iota not being able to stay in the national park because we were too long. So being right here is amazing, and we're gonna get unhitched here and see what we can see in the daylight real quick before we lose our light, and then get in and get snuggled up. It's chilly. It is 54 degrees. Yesterday and earlier in the week was so warm and toasty, and then it is just decreased in temp for the last 24 hours going into the rest of the week. It's going to be cool all week this week. So yeah, good times, but we made it safe. So we're excited. State Park looked gorgeous. Can't wait to see what little bit we can see, and then check out the national park tomorrow in the rain, but we're up for it. How you doing back there, Levi?
All good.
Everybody have a great night.
All right, Indiana Dunes National Park. And of course it's raining. Why wouldn't it be? But we are heading into the visitor center. All right.
Brr, it's a cold rain too.
Yeah.
So cold. We gotta get our stamp.
Nice. All right.
So we always tell people never, ever, ever, ever skip the visitor center. It's always worth it. Now, I don't think we need a full hour here today. We missed the beginning of the video and we don't want to waste what little time we do have waiting for the next hour video to start. But this visitor center is a little bit smaller. It probably rivals Cuyahoga Valley's,
Right.
You know, a little bit different, but it's still full of information. If you look around, you can see, it'll tell you all about the wildlife they have here, the terrain, the different climate issues, all the different habitats. I mean, it's fascinating stuff. Levi keeps joking me that he's going to be the next bird watcher. Well, he's so ridiculous, but one of his favorite movies is that movie with Jack Black in it called The Big Year.
Of all courtship rituals, none is as spectacular as that of the bald eagle.
Yeah.
And so he's always making jokes about, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a big year. Like, no, you're not. Anyway, it's just kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. But he's always like, I need to know what kind of bird that is. But he's been saying this to me for, since you first saw
I don't
that
know what
movie
any birds
20
are.
years ago? I don't know. Anyway. And I'm like, babe, it's a robin.
I know what a cardinal looks like.
Oh, do you now? I bet you know what a blue jay is, too.
Blue jay. Yeah, I got the blue jay and the cardinal
never
down.
skip the visitor center.
Facts.
We're gonna head out and do, they say, the one must do. We're gonna get soaked. It's freezing outside, but we're gonna do it.
Yep.
So let's go check it out.
All right.
Okay, what's up, friends? So where are we headed, Levi? What's this called? So we have such a
West
limit.
Beach.
We're going to West Beach, like 0.9 mile. Is that what she said?
Yeah,
Boardwalk.
it's a 0.9 mile boardwalk hike.
Boardwalk hike. All right.
Yeah. Well,
That sounds like my kind of hike.
basically from the visitor center, you can go east or west. Obviously, if you have multiple days here, a whole full day
Yeah.
of beautiful weather, you can do both. But if you're only going to do one, from east from the visitor center, you're going to get hikes more in the marsh and things like that. West Beach is supposed to be more dunes and Lake Michigan.
Right.
So we should be able to see the water.
And we have just entered the roving metropolis of Burns Harbor, Indiana. So that sounds fun. But we're gonna go do this hike. So anyway, wanted to just give a shout out to the amazing ranger that we just talked to at the visitor center. She was so great. Now I overheard as I was waiting in line, her assisting the couple in front of me. They were a couple that were retired and they're full-time RVers, but they didn't tell her that. She had no way of knowing that. This was just how great this ranger was. The lady said, we only have a couple of hours today in the park. And then the ranger was like, oh, and I'm so sorry about the weather. She said, I mean, there's nothing that we could do to change it, but let me, share with you the best things to do if you only have a couple hours and the weather's not the greatest. If you've got parkas, throw those on. But she goes, but anyway, she goes, the great thing she goes, well, first she goes, what direction are you heading? If you're driving, because you're traveling, and they've stopped on travels, and they said, we're heading east. And she goes, okay, that's great. I'm not going to send you to whatever spot X, which was this way. She goes, which is one of the perks and highlights of the national park. She goes, but that would add 40 minutes to your day, and then 40 minutes, you know, of backtracking. She goes, so I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to suggest that you do this other one that, you know, probably the same one she's sending us on. But she was so kind and gracious about that. And as she's telling them, you know, pulls out her little mappy deal and is telling them what to do, she goes, are you towing an RV or any kind of a large, you know, setup with what you're driving? And the lady said, yes, we're towing an RV. She goes, well, I'm glad I asked because, and then she proceeds to say, don't do this one because if you're, you know, hitched up and not going to unhitch and you're not camping here, you're towing, this is not going to be conducive for you. And I thought, you know what, that was amazing because so many people that give you information, they don't take into consideration unless you tell them, which as an RVer, I think it's pretty much on you to say, oh, by the way, we're towing, should we do that? But this lady took that, you know, part of the equation out, and she was that in tune to the people that come and go from her visitor center on a daily, weekly basis that she wanted to ask that. And she said, if you're towing, I was like, RVers appreciate you, ma'am. We really do. I thought that was really sweet. Anyway, the rangers are amazing. At every stinking national park visitor center we go to, we are so just in awe of how helpful and knowledgeable and just kind all the workers are.
And they act like they want to talk to you instead of like you're inconveniencing.
Yeah, it's not like going into a department store going, can you point me to menswear? And they go, yeah. But no, the rangers, they always seem so eager to talk to you. They're excited about what they do. They're excited about their job, and they love to share with anybody.
Is that a dune?
No, that's the Mount Garbaggio. That's what we call a landfill, my friends. Is that a dune? Nicely, like, nice. But anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to the ranger. She was great. Plenty of room to park your RV here if you're hitched up.
Yeah.
That's a perk.
That's what we thought about doing.
And at this point, I kind of think we should have. Look, our first overlook.
Underlook. We're looking up at the dunes.
Ooh, a sign that says danger. Always fun. Caution. About what? Drowning hazard? Oh no.
The other part about when you're short on time, you don't read anything. You just go. We don't know where we're going.
We're the worst. We're the worst adventurers. We don't do anything by the book. We do everything wrong. We go to national parks with 2 hours
Yeah.
to spend. So drop us a comment and let us know if you're still somebody that is working full-time and you're still somebody that is bound by schedules and commitments and things like that, but you still are doing everything you can to get out there and see what you can see within the confines of what your life will allow. Let us know how you're doing it.
Right.
How are you managing? How are you doing this without being able to be fully remote and fully on the go 24/7? Because we're on the go 24/7, but not necessarily adventuring 24/7. And we're still documented for videos now, and it takes time and effort, and we're always running.
Always going.
As my grandma Frody would say, we're like the old cow's tail, always running behind.
definitely doesn't feel like a lake. Doesn't look like a lake. We lived on the beach pretty much in Florida for 6 years and got to see the ocean every day.
We did.
And it pretty much feels like the ocean, but it's a lake.
Yeah, we lived on the Atlantic side in Florida. We lived in Fort Pierce, Florida, on South Hutchinson Island, Barrier Island. We were blessed to live there for 6 years, and we weren't cold like this all the time.
No.
But I mean, the Great Lakes are no ocean, but they are amazing.
They are amazing
in their own right. There's
They're
so
big.
much beauty. There's vastness. When we were up in Mackinac Island last summer, that turquoise water. I mean,
Yeah.
the Great Lakes really don't get praised enough in the how amazing they are. They're pretty awesome.
And
This
if
is Lake Michigan.
If the sun was out, it would be a little more
It would be
of
more
that
blue.
turquoise.
Yeah. Yep, we're at Lake Michigan in Burns Harbor at West Beach. The West Beach Loop is what it's called.
I guess.
In the Indiana Dunes National Park. And there are some lunar tuners, but I'm so, like, I think they're awesome. I'm just calling them lunar tuners because they'll probably get pneumonia. However, gotta give them props. Look at them out there. They
In the
came
water.
and saw, they got wet.
I don't think we're getting wet today.
It's in the 50s, and this wind is so bad I had to borrow Levi's sunglasses because I can't see anything. But anyway, we came and we didn't let the weather stop us. You do what you can do when you can do it.
That's right.
My ears are cold.
Wet sand. All right, so Mandy headed back to the truck. I'm gonna try to do this. I'll tell you what, doing just the dunes, like walking through all the sand, that's rough. But not really looking forward to this, but doing it for you. So let's go. Sand is the hardest part, I swear. It's not easy. I don't know if it's maybe a little easier when the sand is dry, but it is not dry. So, yeah. Hardest part. So, sand is the hardest part. Unfortunately, you start that hike in the sand and you end that hike in the sand. Whew. My legs are a little jello. That's alright. Time to head back to the campground, get packed up, and head to Rockford. Of course, it's windy. Whew.
leaving the Indiana Dunes State Park. It's got a really nice, this is just a really nice state park. Like, we didn't stay in the national park I think we maybe could have. I'm gonna have to do some more sleuthing into that, because when we were watching the video of in the visitor center of the like, just, you know, the state or the national park, and, you know, all the perks and sites and whatnot, they were talking about their campground there, which I think is called Dune Campground, don't quote me. And then they kind of did like just a little tiny, you know, drone shot or footage of it, and there were some bigger rigs in there. So I am a little sus that I had the right info, that we were too long. Anyway, I have no regrets about where we stayed. We stayed at the state park. We stayed in Site 12. And it was great. I mean, this state park is beautiful. And just like always, we'd love to have had more time. The campground just was really nice and well cared for. You used the facilities last night, right?
Yep, they're nice.
And he said they were really nice. There was lots of sites that just looked like we would have loved that one or that one. Tons of families. It looked very family friendly. It was $30.61 to stay for one night. We had electric only, which is typical for a state park. But anyway, that is not too shabby. I'll stay $30 a night in a beautiful state park all day long. We love that. We were on our way here yesterday. There's a Jellystone that's not very far from here, that once, when we knew we couldn't make the whole trip to Rockford in one fell swoop. Right, Levi?
Yep, one fell swoop.
One fell swoop.
So she calls me and she goes, I want to go visit my parents and I want to do it in one fell swoop. And I go, all right, let's do it in one fell swoop. She goes, I want to do it in one fell swoop. I go, let's do it in one fell swoop. You know, let's swoop it up. I'm down.
Anyway, so we were like, we just checked into it though. Oh, there's a place we knew was there, because you see the signs from the road all the time. It's like, well, let's see if that might be a good, you know, couple hours under our belt for the first night, but then we'll finish the journey. $198 a night. And we don't do, you know, resort type places at the stage of life we're in, unless we're just either desperate or some other reason, because we don't have littles, and so we don't find any need to go, you know, using playgrounds or inflatables or anything like that. Won't be hopefully too long, and grandbabies will factor into our decisions someday. But until then, we're pretty happy at state parks at $30 a night. There's the visitor center again as we leave. Ray's back there just getting comfy. We've got about a 3-hour per GPS travel day, but anybody that tows knows. If you tow, you know. If you tow, you know. What it says on GPS is not accurate. And we haven't eaten all day, and it is 2:30 local time, central time, because of the time zone we're in, and 3:30 our time, so we're pretty hungry. So we're gonna hit up some lunch, and we will have to stop for gas at some point, but Rockford or bust.
See ya.